It's the age-old question, where should I spend my time in print on demand? Should I spend it uploading designs onto TeePublic, or should I spend it uploading designs onto Redbubble? Well, in this video, I'm going to attempt to answer that question. Now, they both have advantages and disadvantages, but I'm going to compare them directly, and we'll see who comes out on top. Let's jump in. The first thing we can compare is website traffic. I'm on a website here called similarweb.com, and it's free. You can look it up to see if a website is super popular or not. Here for Redbubble, we can see the total visits in February of 2025 was over 17 million. For TeePublic, we can see it's about a third of that. It's about 6.1 million, but the total visits for Redbubble is 3 to 1 compared to TeePublic. So I would say the winner in terms of website popularity is Redbubble. Okay, let's compare SEO, and SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It's a pretty easy way here that you can check this out, although it's not an exact science. Here on Google, I've just typed in funny cat t-shirt, and let's just see what comes back. Will I see a Redbubble result, or will I see a TeePublic result? Actually, the first result back is Spreadshirt, then Etsy, then Amazon, and then finally I get to Redbubble. Down below here is TeePublic. So we can see Redbubble's slightly higher than TeePublic for me. Now, I've signed in to Google, so this is my personal account. What you can do as well is, depending on your web browser, you can activate private browsing. So I'm going to go here to New Private Window, and I've typed in funny cat t-shirt. And in theory now, Google doesn't know who I am. My computer doesn't know who I am. Again, this is not perfect, but when I type in funny cat t-shirt and I scroll on down, I actually get TeePublic here above Redbubble. So it's possible if you're searching on your computer, you'll get slightly different results, and it could be because of the cookies inside of your computer. So you can try this with a number of search terms and see what comes up. I do recommend going in incognito mode or private browsing to not have a bias of you doing the search. Another option is you can type in your search term and then click the shopping icon, and that'll give you back different results as well. We can see here when I type in Father's Day t-shirt and shopping, I've got TeePublic coming up right first, and under all products, I have TeePublic as well. In fact, I don't see Redbubble really at all. I have to kind of search down below for it to pop up. There it is there. So overall, I'm going to give the nod here to TeePublic. I think their SEO is superior when you're searching outside of the website itself. Let's compare the interface now specifically for the buyer. So I am just in TeePublic here. I'm not signed in, and I can just go up to the top, and I can either put in a search term or I can shop all my designs right here. So it's a very clean website. I can type in rock and roll, for example, and I can see a whole bunch of rock designs now come back. And they're pretty easy to see here. The thumbnails are very standardized, which I really like. So I'm going to click this one here. We can see that's a great looking thumbnail. I've got an option here now for different t-shirts. And it's not too complicated. There's my size, there's my style. It gives me my price pretty quickly. Redbubble also has a pretty clean website. They have a bunch of these little boxes down here, shop t-shirts, phone cases, that kind of thing. It's personal preference, but I'm not a big fan of having completely different thumbnails for everything. I think it kind of gets busy after a while, especially down here under this featured products. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you just want to find a design and instead you're seeing a sticker, a phone, a fine art print, a tank top, a pillow. There's a ton of different designs. But overall, I prefer TeePublic's look and feel on their website. I feel like they do a good job of saying, look, we're primarily t-shirts and we have very standardized thumbnails. And I think that helps the consumer because they're not overwhelmed with a ton of different options. Next up, let's take a look at the interface specifically for the seller. So here I am on Redbubble and I've logged in, and I simply go up here to the top right and I click on Add New Work. From here, I have an option to upload new work, or I can copy an existing work. This is huge for me. Copying an existing work is a huge time saver. On TeePublic, it's pretty easy to do as well. I go over here to the top right, I click Sell Your Art, and then it asks me for a single file upload or a multi-file upload. I'm not a huge fan of the multi-file upload simply because it still does everything one at a time, so it's not really a time saver for me. Single file upload is pretty basic. For Redbubble, when you upload the design, you get a lot of options here. You can put in the title, the tags, the description, and then down below you can stick it on all sorts of different products. So I'd say Redbubble's a little more advanced than TeePublic, which may be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much effort you want to put in. There's a lot of different products that you can stick your design on. Okay, and on TeePublic, I've got the same piece of art uploaded, And here we've got design title, main tag, supporting tags, and description, and that's pretty much it. There's not a lot else that we can do on here except select the default color, and that's about it. Everything else is pretty much good to go. There's a lot of different items down below. You can configure other products, but there's not much else. So I will say for ease of use, TeePublic wins. However, there's one huge problem with TeePublic, and it's that for new sellers, they often get banned right away, whereas Redbubble will not do that. So it's a very tough choice here for me to pick. I will say if you don't get banned right away, then the TeePublic interface is superior in my opinion. It's quick, it's easy, and I will say for beginners especially, it's very easy to use. Let's talk prices next. On Redbubble, you have an option to change your price. So as you work through your different designs, if you click on the edit button, it'll open up the edit tool. You've got a little pencil here where you can change the default color and you can scale the image up or down. But there's also a little gear icon here where you can change the markup on your design. You can do 5%, 10%, even 100%. On TeePublic, you don't really have that option. The price is the price. And you can see this when you go into TeePublic and you search through different t-shirts, you'll see all the t-shirt designs are pretty much the exact same price. So you don't have the option to change the price. Now, I personally prefer changing the price, and most people that I've seen on Reddit or other YouTube channels or comments, they tend to like changing the product markup. So I will say if you value changing the prices, then Redbubble has a huge advantage, and for that reason, I will give Redbubble the nod in this case. Next up, let's talk products. On Redbubble, we can see down below, you can just count them up. How many different products are there? Well, it's not so easy as to just count them up, because when you go under standard print, for example, you can see there's different types of t-shirts and hoodies and sweatshirts nested in the main thumbnail. Same thing here with large print clothing. Large print clothing has a premium t-shirt, but it also has a scoop t-shirt and a long t-shirt. Down below, there's lots of different options. So there's many more products on Redbubble than there is on TeePublic. TeePublic basically has a t-shirt, a hoodie, a tank top, a crew neck, and a few others. And then underneath here, we've got hats, stickers, and so on, but this is pretty much it. So for the sheer volume of products, I will give the nod to Redbubble. Let's talk next about the all-important tagging or keywords. Here I am on Redbubble, and I can write up to 15 tags, 50 character limit per tag. On TeePublic, I've got the same, and I've just added in 15 tags so that when I try to add in a 16th, it says you've met the tag limit for this design, 15. I really like how it suggests the tags as well. And then here for main tag, I can type in a main tag. And I like how it says here, it's determined it's the most effective tag. So even when you're doing supporting tags, sometimes it'll throw it up into the main tag. Because of this feature, the main tag feature, and because of the suggestions that it gives you when you're typing in tags, I'll give TeePublic the nod for tags. Next up, let's talk sales. What I mean specifically is when the website lowers their normal product price in order for you to garner more attention on the website. So here on TeePublic, we can see there's no sale currently on. When we go to Redbubble, we can see fresh as spring, get up to 25% off apparel, stickers, cases, and more. It's been my personal experience that Redbubble seems to offer more sales than TeePublic. So for me, I'm going to give Redbubble the nod in terms of sales because I personally value what they're offering up more so than perhaps TeePublic does. And the last comparative is fees. I know that Redbubble implemented a fee-based system that was not well received by fans. TeePublic, on the other hand, has not done any such thing to date. And so for that reason and that reason alone, I need to say, regardless of margins, regardless of sale prices, TeePublic would get the nod simply because people are so outraged at the fee structure for Redbubble. So what does this mean? Overall, Redbubble scored in website traffic, prices, products, and sales. TeePublic scored in SEO, both interfaces for the buyer and the seller, tagging, and fees. And that makes TeePublic, in my opinion, the winner. Now, I do want to say that both are worth spending time on. And if you're a beginner, I would recommend signing up for both websites and giving it a try and seeing which one resonates with you the most. And in that vein, I would love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. Feel free to throw them down in the comments below. Here's another video on how you can make some fun money doing fun things on the side.